Hail is damaging, but for it to cost $3 billion in damage? Okay, that's a next-level story. Hi, I'm Chris May, host of This Day in Weather History, a podcast from the Weather Network in Canada. And in Canada, we know hail. I've already done stories on this very podcast telling stories of expensive disasters in Alberta. And we've done stories on lethal storms in the U.S. Tornado Alley, and even one story that featured the largest hailstone ever in American history. Hey, did you miss any of these stories? Subscribe to This Day in Weather History right now, wherever you happen to be listening to me. By doing that, you never miss a future day in weather history, and you have access now to go back and get caught up on any of the 5 to 6 minute episodes that you may have missed. Just hit subscribe or follow wherever you happen to be listening to me. We've been at this since June 1st, so if you just found us today, might I suggest some fun binge listening? But right now, listen to this. The almost $3 billion hailstorm that happened not in Alberta, not in Kansas, but the cactus state of Arizona happened this day in weather history. I'm going to start with a bit of good news off the top. Not everyone was a loser in this story. You'll see what I mean as we get to the end. So wait for it. It was on October 5th of 2010, this day in weather history, when several supercells tracked over the Phoenix metropolitan area, dropping large hail and causing extensive damage. How big were these monsters? How do you feel about 7.6 centimeters in diameter? Yeah, that's the size of the hail that fell in Phoenix, the largest hail ever reported in that metro area. Everybody loves making comparisons, so let's do that now. The largest hailstone to fall in the state of Arizona was 11.5 centimeters in diameter. This occurred near Mayer, Arizona, September 28th, 1995. So, it was considerably larger, but consider this. The population of Mayer in 2010 was 1,500, and as of 2020 is still only 2,100 people, while the population of Phoenix in 2010 was around 1.5 million. So I dare say that a massive hailstorm there will move the needle more than in Mayer, regardless of whose stones were bigger. The final assessment was pegged at $2.8 billion in property damage that affected 150,000 Phoenix area homes, cars, and other property. Now, how did it happen? Strong winds at the surface and aloft with great lift and height was coupled with an unstable air mass, both due to an approaching low-pressure system. Bottom line, there was a powerful convective storm moving in, and it was growing. This gave rise to several supercell thunderstorms all across central Arizona during the morning and afternoon hours of October 5th of 2010, this day in weather history. And as it happened, several of these supercells swept over the very densely populated Phoenix metropolitan area. The immense updraft within the massive height of these supercell clusters resulted in the dropping of large hail and the ensuing extensive damage. But now for those who found profit from other people's pain. I'm not making light of this. It is a reality, and it is unfortunate, but it does happen. This obviously became an enormous amount of frustration for affected homeowners, licensed contractors, insurance companies, and regulators, according to interviews and a review of complaints filed with the organizations like the Arizona Department of Insurance, the Better Business Bureau, and the Arizona Registrar of Contractors, just to name a few. As soon as this happened, insurance companies scrambled legions of adjusters. Homeowners, at the same time, were looking everywhere for someone to get immediate repairs done. Contractors were rushed into action, and in the chaos of a city that boasted close to 1.5 million people, disputes naturally arose. And as you would imagine, homeowners were the source of most complaints because, after all, this is expensive, even for those with insurance. But for those who either did not have insurance or their policy would not cover everything, or very little, it created a great emotional strain and a great deal of anger. And that anger was directed at, in some cases, by the homeowners at the insurance companies, contractors, and other local businesses. It was a truly unpleasant experience for all. It cost almost $3 billion in 2010 USD, and it was caused by a storm of hailstones over 7.5 centimeters in diameter that rained down on Phoenix, Arizona on October 5th of that year, this day in weather history. Tomorrow is October 6th. Weather can be deadly when it interrupts air flight. You've got downbursts, lightning, and basic atmospheric turbulence can result in catastrophic disasters. But to fly accidentally into a tornado? That is not only rare, but virtually unheard of. However, that is what is on the show tomorrow, when in 1981, a regional jet operating a domestic commuter flight in the Netherlands ran into a line of thunderstorms shortly after takeoff from Rotterdam. But buried inside was something far more sinister. And it will all be revealed tomorrow on This Day in Weather History with me, your host, Chris May.